Welcome to United Network News, the official news channel for CARE, the Center for Amity and Restoration of Earth. I'm Sunny Galt. At UNN, you get the real news. Through our field messengers, we show you the truth about what's really taking place in our communities. We also bring you stories to help you remember who you are and why you're here, as well as regional stories that impact the people. And our World Situation Report reveals what's happening throughout the multiverse. We are here to restore Earth. In the U.S., it is Friday, September 6, 2024. In France, we're visiting a local winery. Learn more about the world of winemaking and what it takes to get from the grape to the glass. And in Japan, this dance honors the spirits of ancestors. It's called the Bon Dance, and it's an important summer tradition. What exactly is your pineal gland? How does it calcify? And what can you do to restore it? A drought in Kenya is impacting the livelihoods of communities reliant on cattle, and now some are looking for an alternative source of food and income. And the dam in the Klamath River in the U.S. has been cleared, and now trees have been planted, and the area's ecosystem is flourishing.
This is Calen Gipp, messenger for United Network News. Here's a look at today's field messenger reports from all around the world. Today we visit a local winery in southern France and experience the region's rich cultural heritage. UNN field messenger Paige offers us a glimpse into the world of winemaking.
Hi, this is UNN Field Messenger Paige reporting from the south of France as we tour a local winery. Marcelon is an ancient village located on the Mediterranean Sea along the southern coast of France. It was founded by the Greeks in 535 BC, that's about 2,500 years ago, where they built a port for trading. Today you'll find a very eclectic port village with multiple vineyards around the area. One of the local vineyards, La Madeleine Saint-Jean, has had their winery here since the late 1800s. Located along the mouth of the bay, their facility, or cave, has barrels and barrels of wines in storage. Here we can watch as they fill and order and label their bottles so that visitors can watch the process. The tops are placed by hand on the bottle over the cork, and then they put the bottle into the labeling machine, one by one. Many of the old tools and bottles used over the years have been saved and are on the display in the cave. The vineyard produces several varieties of wine, including Cabernet Sauvignon, Rosé, Chardonnay, and Muscat, among others. One of the owners introduced us to their varieties at their afternoon wine tasting and shared some of the differences between each bottle. After tasting several reds and whites, we all chose our favorites and headed out to find some lovely local cheese to pair it with for a relaxing afternoon along the bay. As we left the winery, I was reminded how important it is to support local businesses as they continue to maintain their traditions over the centuries, providing their communities with such amazing quality wine like La Madeleine Saint-Jean. Thanks for watching.
The Bon Dance in Japan is a joyous celebration that brings communities together to honor the spirits of their ancestors. UNN Field Messenger Akira introduces us to this cherished summer tradition.
Hello, I'm Field Messenger Akira, reporting from Kamakura, Japan. Tonight, I would like to introduce a popular summer event in Japan. It is called Bon Odori, which means Bon dancing or Bon festival dancing. Bon is about the middle of August and believed to be the time the dead family or relative or ancestor come back, based upon Buddhism. But rather, it has long been the most popular summer event and leisure in every district for many centuries all over Japan. Young, old, mature people, and little ones, male or female, all gather around the stage and dance the same dance, forgetting division and solitude of modern life, remembering the love and tie to the neighbors and strangers, and maybe even to souls. I heard that many Japanese communities all over the world are sponsoring Bon dancing. If you see this event, don't hesitate to join the circle. Thank you for watching. Field Messenger Akira reported from Kamakura, Japan.
We want you to become a UNN field messenger. These are everyday people just like you who want to make a difference in their community. You don't need any special training or equipment. Just use the camera on your mobile phone and show us what's happening in your area. You send us your videos and our production team will create the report for you. Our website is up and running at unitednetwork.earth. You can submit your Field Messenger reports directly through the Field Messenger tab at the top of the page. You can also email your reports to our email address at fieldmessenger@unitednetwork.earth.
Hey, I'm Kirsten from Switzerland.
This is Wayne from Tucson.
Hi, my name is Desmond from Ghana.
I am Claudia from Dawsonville, Georgia.
I'm Mikey from Pretoria, South Africa.
Hi, I'm Steve McGrath, Fort McMurray, Alberta, Canada.
People from all around the world are coming together.
Happy day, beautiful world. We are here in a rather small urban garden, and this video is just to show you the joys that we've had in this garden with the electric gardening.
When news happens in their area, they show us what's really going on.
We have people in the streets protesting for and against.
At United Network News, our field messengers are changing the face of news.
This is Field Messenger Helen reporting with nature, and I'm going to talk to you about the bees again.
Take the next step in restoring our planet. Become a UNN Field Messenger today.
Hi, I'm Stephanie from South Africa. If it's going to be, it's up to me.
If it's going to be, it's up to me.
It's up to me.
It's up to me. It's up to me.
It's up to me.
It's up to all of us. We're UNN, and we're taking back the news.
In the heart of the brain lies an organ that has fascinated both scientists and mystics for centuries, the pineal gland. Often dubbed the third eye, the pineal gland has a direct effect on your consciousness and spiritual awakening. It can also calcify, which impacts its overall function. Pam Stillwell-Boone is an osteopath, kinesthesiologist, and holistic mind-body spirit coach. And today, Pam shares with us how to decalcify your pineal gland and restore it to its original condition. So Pam is back with us, and we're talking about something that I think a lot of people are interested in, Pam, and that is we're talking about your third eye, also known as your pineal gland, and ensuring that it is open and receptive. And a lot of times, because we've been on eating all of this junk stuff that we've been fed and not really knowing, that wasn't so good for us, it has decalcified. So Pam, how do we open this back up? How do we decalcify our pineal gland?
And that's a great question. I think I get that a lot. Now, First of all, is that we all know the pineal gland is a third eye. Okay. It's a chakra, and it's our intuition. And we're going to be honest. And Kim talked about it already in one of our updates. When I was in med school, I knew there was something they weren't saying. There was something that was missing, and there was a part of the brain and it was a transmitter or transducer of the pineal gland. And they kind of didn't want us to know very much of that. And even when you go and learn the brain, they don't talk about the pineal gland too much, and they should. So once you understand that, our pineal gland is our intuition. It's our antenna. It's our spirituality. However, the sicker and you are in disease or the way you eat is going to calcify it. Now, sometimes you don't know you're doing it. Fluoride, guys, like dentistry, we shouldn't really be getting fluoride in our toothbrush. Like, we shouldn't be using fluoride at all. And there's so much research now, guys, that, and there was a reason, we're not going to lie, there was a reason why we were put certain things so that we wouldn't open up our pineal gland, okay? So I always suggest get a water filtration system. The first thing you do is you filter your water. You get something that takes out the heavy metals. So the water is the number one thing. Number two, your food, okay? Now, we're not going to go too complicated, but a vegan diet, I'm going to say, is the best way on the planet to open up your pineal gland, okay? Now, I'm not telling everybody to stop eating meat and stuff, but the cleaner that you eat, your meat should be very low, okay? Because if you're really looking for that, animals have energy, and eating another animal is not going to open up your pineal gland. It's going to close it, okay? So that's something that I want people to think on. Epsom salt baths. Now, I take a lot of baths with baking soda. And what that does is it cleanses your system. So you want to detox all the time because we have environmental crap everywhere. Yeah. And that environmental crap is going to close your pineal gland. From the genetically modified food that we eat, from the pesticides that they spray, to just things everywhere. From perfumes, if you put makeup on and deodorants, like I don't wear deodorant. I don't do that stuff. And I still soak in an Epsom salt baking soda probably every second day to keep cleansing my system. Grounding, barefoot outside for 30 minutes. That is actually the best way to decalcify your pineal gland because you are syncing with the earth's energy. You're decreasing the inflammation that you have in your body. Now, if you want to add to that, you sit on you lean on a tree. You're also getting the energy from the tree. And all that combined, if you did a little meditation at the same time, that is the most amazing way of decalcifying. But the worst thing that people do is medications. Any type of medication, from a birth control to an Advil to a prescribed, they all calcify the pineal gland. So I don't take anything. I have weaned myself off everything. I had severe asthma, and I'd use castor oil packs on my chest to stop taking my medication because I really took this seriously. And I wanted to wake up. We all know that we've done this before, and we are now waking up and remembering who we are. So the healthier that we are, we talked about the mind, body, spirit, what we eat, the way we sleep. If we don't sleep, now I'm a little bit weird because I don't sleep at all, and that's just who I am. I sleep 3 hours a night. I'm a different person, but I don't recommend that to people. But I do a lot of meditation. So the thing is, if your mind, body, spirit is healthy, you're going to get a direct connection, and then your pineal gland can open now. And then you can have a direct connection to source. What we're doing, is we're doing this pathway of a connection, of a flow from the earth, in ourselves, to source, so that we can manifest abundance, anything you want, and heal our whole body together.
How do you know when you've decalcified it enough?
Great question. Well, your intuition goes crazy. I was on a call last week, and it was the cutest thing because it was someone that is spiritual but just awakening, and he changed his whole water filtration system. And then he said, I don't understand. He goes, I just think about something, and it happens. And I don't understand what's going on because what's happening is he's been decalcifying it without even realizing it with the water that he's been drinking. And you'll start to know synchronicities, like things are happening for you. I need something, and all of a sudden it happens. It's at your door. And that just starts to go, and then you get excited, and then it keeps and it keeps going. And then sometimes you will feel it. You'll feel something that it's burning, it's red, it's something. You're feeling it.
In the Netherlands, a unique approach to dementia care has moved away from a traditional nursing home setting and into a care-focused neighborhood environment. This innovative project encourages residents to enjoy on-site community activities such as dining at a restaurant, visiting shops, or attending theater shows, all in the safe and friendly atmosphere of their home care. Caregivers don't wear uniforms and play the roles of shopkeepers, waitresses, and theater staff, creating an atmosphere of everyday life that encourages a sense of belonging and independence. Many residents experience reduced feelings of loneliness and anxiety, alongside improved memory and social interactions. By prioritizing dignity and respect for those with dementia, this project is setting a new standard for dementia care. Baking soda, or sodium bicarbonate, is an inexpensive and common household item that has many benefits and uses. It can help eliminate indigestion, acid reflux, and even stomach ulcers by neutralizing high acidity in the body. It can reduce joint inflammation and improve autoimmune responses. Some studies suggest it may slow the progression of kidney disease and counteract the effects of chemotherapy. For minor skin irritations, baking soda can soothe pain, itching, and redness. A lukewarm bath with baking soda or a simple paste can be effective for insect bites, stings, and sunburn. Beyond health, it is a powerful cleaning agent, tackling grease, grime, and odors in the kitchen. It can also be used for beauty routines like exfoliating skin, whitening teeth, and softening your feet. Every household should keep a box of baking soda handy for its remarkable versatility. Ginger is a vibrant spice with a distinctive flavor and aroma that has been cherished for centuries for its culinary uses, health benefits, and cultural significance worldwide. Known as nature's antispasmodic, ginger can soothe an upset stomach and alleviate tension for up to 12 hours. Ginger is effective at easing throat discomfort and reducing tension headaches. It also acts as a powerful antiviral, antibacterial, and antiparasitic agent. With more than 60 trace minerals, 30 amino acids, and numerous enzymes working synergistically, it helps calm stress responses and boost the body's natural vitamin B12 production. For a potent mix, try ginger and turmeric tea for during stressful moments or when a cold threatens. Both turmeric and ginger can be found in essential oil form. Just a few drops of both in a veggie capsule can be taken anytime, anywhere, and give you the same healing results. Incorporating ginger into your daily routine can serve as a simple yet powerful step toward enhancing your overall health and well-being. We are United Network News. Every day, we release real stories from real people all over the world.
Field Messenger reporting from Gold Coast, Australia,
Denmark,
Canada,
Uganda,
from Atlanta, in Southern California.
In their own words, people like you share what's really happening in their area. At UNN, you are the news. You are creating a new world with infinite possibilities. You are the restoration plan. Come join us for the real news every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, only on United Network. We're UNN, and we're taking back the news. Germany's job market is experiencing a decline in employment in the auto sector, and major companies announcing substantial job cuts. The automotive sector, once thriving, has seen employment drop by 6.5% since 2018, affecting around 780,000 workers. Many suppliers are planning to reduce their workforce, contributing to rising uncertainty. This trend is worsened by the influx of approximately 1 million refugees from Ukraine, with many unable to secure jobs. The reluctance of companies to lay off staff due to tight employment laws has led to a rise in voluntary redundancy packages, yet the negotiations can take upwards of a year. Despite job growth in Germany, there's concern about a widening income gap as higher paying manufacturing jobs are replaced by lower paying roles in healthcare and childcare, raising issues of inequality and public spending. Fuel shortages in Nigeria are worsening the ongoing cost of living crisis, with the state-run oil company admitting financial issues are affecting supply. Sporadic fuel shortages often lead to long lines at government-run petrol stations, which offer lower prices than private sellers. The increase in fuel prices, more than tripling in some regions, follows government reforms that removed costly fuel subsidies, further driving inflation and impacting living costs. Residents report spending significantly more on transportation due to these price hikes. Many filling stations are permanently closed or struggle to keep fuel available, leading to extended wait times for drivers. Calls for government intervention are increasing, with some citizens highlighting the financial strain of the current situation. In Kenya, prolonged drought has impacted the livelihoods of traditional livestock herders, particularly from communities reliant on cattle. Millions of livestock perish due to the prolonged dry conditions, leading some herders to explore fishing farming and as an alternative source of food and income. Local governments are supporting fish farming initiatives, providing resources for those who have lost their herds, and encouraging dietary shifts to include fish. The program aims to diversify incomes and address food insecurity. Also, some of these communities are now turning to camels, which are resilient in harsh conditions. Camels are viewed as a viable investment for future needs, such as dowries for marriages. The shift in animal rearing reflects a necessary adaptation for those facing diminishing grazing lands and increasing urbanization. South Korea's health ministry is deploying military doctors to assist in emergency rooms or ERs due to a shortage of medical staff. This move follows a strike by young doctors, which has strained the healthcare system. The vice health minister says while some hospitals have reduced ER hours, claims of major hospitals suspending ER operations are false. The government plans to send 15 military doctors immediately and rotate 235 more into troubled hospitals starting September 9th. The National Association of Medical School Professors warned many ERs were already struggling to provide normal services, suggesting a potential healthcare system collapse had begun. Concerns are rising about the upcoming 3-day autumn holiday starting on September 16th, which may further stress ER operations. In preparation, the government is ensuring 4,000 local clinics and smaller hospitals will be available during this period. Many families from China are relocating to Thailand, seeking a more balanced academic environment for their children. Parents are drawn to the region's less competitive approach to education compared to China's intense pressure and rigid systems. Reports show a significant increase in inquiries at local international schools as families aim to escape the high-stakes atmosphere of the Chinese education system. In Thailand, students enjoy greater freedom to explore hobbies and interests without the burden of excessive memorization and homework. Parents report a changing perspective on education, where a lower grade is not seen as a barrier to future success, but rather as an opportunity for growth. The trend highlights a growing desire for educational choices that prioritize well-being and creativity. Iraqi lawmakers are facing backlash over proposed amendments to the country's personal status law, which may allow girls to marry as young as 9. Activists point out such legislation would regress society by centuries. Supporters argue the amendments offer individuals a choice between civil and religious law, framing it as a defense against secular Western influences. Critics argue the revisions predominantly benefit men, undermining women's rights. The original 1959 law, which set the minimum marriage age at 18, has provided substantial protections for women and children, yet its enforcement has been inconsistent. The parliamentary vote on the amendments was postponed due to a lack of quorum. In the U.S., New Mexico has filed a lawsuit against the owner of Snapchat. The lawsuit alleges the app's design and policies contribute to the sharing of child sexual exploitation material. An investigation reveals Snapchat is a major platform for sextortion, where predators pressure minors to send explicit content under threat of exposure. The company stated it is reviewing the complaint and remains committed to collaborating with law enforcement and safety experts. The app, popular amongst younger users for its disappearing messages, has been criticized for misleading users about content retention. Investigators discovered numerous records linking Snapchat to child sexual abuse content on dark websites. There's a strong push for improved measures to protect children from online predators and create a safer digital environment. The hope is collaboration between tech companies, law enforcement, and safety experts will lead to better protective solutions. Also in the U.S., a significant ecological restoration project has seen the successful removal of dams and the planting of diverse native seeds, enhancing the Klamath River's health. Local communities, particularly indigenous tribes, are experiencing a transformative impact as the once polluted river starts to run clear. The project has involved planting more than 18 billion native seeds using methods like hand sowing and helicopter seeding. Early results show promise, with areas already flourishing with diverse plant life and wildlife. The area will be monitored for 5 years, focusing on criteria such as species richness and vegetation cover to determine the project's success. This restoration effort addresses the ecological needs of the river and empowers local indigenous communities, promoting a deeper connection to the land. Truckers in Colombia are protesting a diesel price increase, leading to widespread road blockages that have disrupted access to the country's major cities. The strike has caused concern for potential food and fuel shortages, with local businesses warning many essential goods may spoil due to logistics challenges. Public transportation and educational institutions have also faced interruptions, impacting daily life for many residents. The situation has been worsened by ongoing attacks on key pipelines, which threaten hydrocarbon production and may lead to further fuel supply issues. While the government defends the hike as necessary due to unsustainable subsidies, there is a growing understanding amongst the community regarding the truckers' grievances. Despite the difficulties, there is hope for constructive dialogue and resolution that supports both transportation and fair pricing. In Argentina, the Community University of San Martin plays a key role in providing educational resources within the prison system. With more than 1,000 students and 16 graduates earning degrees, the university offers personal and professional growth opportunities. However, recent budget cuts raise concerns about the future as educators face salary stagnation due to inflation. Critics argue these reductions will harm social programs and public education, while the government's plans to build mega prisons could reshape the system. A former inmate, now a university teacher, highlights reintegration challenges and points out education is important for reducing reoffense. He has founded a community library in his neighborhood to provide local children with educational opportunities. His story highlights education's transformative power beyond prison walls and promoting a brighter future for communities.
Football season is now. Don't miss the action. Get all of your games in one place. At United TV, don't pay an arm and a leg to keep up with the action. For as little as $15.99 per month, you will get it all. With multi-screen viewing, make this season your winning season. Go to unitedtv.org and sign up today.
And now, the World Situation Report with Kimberly Gogan from the Office of the Guardian. As the Alpha-Omega Matrix dissolves, Source and Earth are starting to make beautiful music together without any interference. And there are big changes coming, and human-computer networks and fiber optic cables may become a thing of the past. And some more updates on the marketplace, healthcare, and energy as the CARE organization continues to take flight.
Here's the World Situation Report with Kimberly Gogan in the Office of the Guardian.
Good afternoon, good morning, and good evening. Sorry, the news is a little bit late today getting out, or very early, I guess, depending on where you are in the world. It's been a really busy day, but for the first time, it's been, I would say, positive. So we'll get into that in just a little bit. Lots of changes going on. Now, first thing, just a little bit of cleanup. As you know, we talked about our new marketplace. And by marketplace, I mean our little shop. And everything seems to be going well. There's been a few glitches. So if you were subject to some of those glitches, I do apologize. I know I've had a lot of people asking when we're going to open up to ship to the UK and Europe. Hopefully that will begin next week. We just pretty much got through all the custom details for Australia, and we're getting rolling. So we can expect to see that next week. So hopefully that'll be a positive thing. To all of you that are about to experience our oils, I'm so excited. And I just wanted to say thank you to all of you that wanted to give us a try. So I think you're going to love the difference compared to what else is out there on the market. Now, another thing I wanted to update you on, because, you know, again, we're all about moving forward these days. We can talk about the same thing over and over again with the deep state, or we can continue to go forward. So we had a wonderful production meeting yesterday. I wanted to say thank you for everyone that was there. And we have talked about the exciting and upcoming changes as we move closer to our global marketplace launch on November 1st. For those of you that don't know what that is, our global marketplace is going to rival Amazon and some other large players in the game, but we intend to do it better with a lot of new options that are currently not available to vendors. And you're kind of starting to get a taste, if you've gone to our current shop, you're kind of starting to get a little bit of a taste on what that kind of looks like. So, you know, there'll be new technologies, new ways of doing things that'll be presented on United Network and, of course, across our social media. And if some of those things are things that you have as vendors, those will also be featured as well in the marketplace and throughout social media. So it's a great opportunity for small business owners to get your information out there and tell the world why your product is special. Not only that, for all of you that are not selling a product or don't have any interest in that, it's also an opportunity for you to experience some new things and have new solutions for our life's little issues that we have, you know, from water that isn't probably the greatest throughout the world, brownouts, blackouts, and those are things we've been working on this week as well on the care front. But you'll see a lot of new energy projects coming out, new ways of healing yourself, new ways of pain relief. So I'm really excited to see all these things come to fruition. Like I said, we've been having a lot of talks with a lot of new and exciting people that have some amazing things to share with all of you. So I'm looking forward to doing that. And at the same time, looking forward to having a marketplace that is not based on a big corporation. It is going to grow, but as it grows, our employees will grow as well as an employee-owned business. So again, this is just people working together to make a difference in the world. And not only that, in the future, they'll be able to, the harder they work, the larger the company grows, the more they'll all profit. And no one here, including myself, is going to be on the billionaire list anytime soon. So hopefully that will be all of you. So I'm kind of excited to see that. So I'm looking forward to the new and exciting things that our production team is going to be coming up with. Our news is going to change a little bit. You're going to see some positive changes, something new. We're keeping things fresh. We're going to keep changing things up a bit to bring you something new all the time. As some of the other news that's out there right now is, let's just say we might not be interested in who's getting elected where and who's, bombing who, or, as our militaries and everybody else goes broke. So, yeah. I do know that, and I wanted to just make mention of it. There's a lot of talk in the alt media about the markets crashing and, the market went down a few hundred points today. That's a normal thing. Every time the Federal Reserve opens its mouth and they, of course, will give whatever report their deep state handlers tell them to, and then the market drops a few hundred points, and then it goes back up on Monday. So no big deal there. Not expecting to see any kind of changes, but, they stick their foot in it. They start talking and then they can't deliver, so then they make up something to make it look good. Which is not hard to do when, it's nepotism on the highest levels there in most every single global market, which means that they know what's going to happen before the market even opens, probably days or weeks before the market opens. And, there's a lot of promises going on there and zero delivery. Well, isn't that what the deep state does? Zero delivery. Well, unlike the deep state, it may take us a while, but we always deliver on our side of things. Okay, let's talk about, speaking of delivery, let's talk about some changes that are going on. And of course, as always, it'll take the deep state a little while to have light dawn on Marblehead. They, of course, think these new and exciting changes are all for them because they're used to everything being all for them. But in this particular case, it's not. It's actually all for you. So, maybe by Monday or Tuesday, they'll figure out that they have no access to anything they're trying to do. And maybe they'll figure out it's not for them. However, I'm sure, as I'm standing here, that I know for sure that they will, I'm laughing here, so sorry about that, that they will claim that they did it, and it's just a matter of time before we all get our access codes and we're back in business, guys. And, they'll be waiting a long time to get access codes as to the people's currency. And probably, maybe thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of years. So I hope they live long enough, not really, to see that. Okay, so let's talk about new changes that are going on. So there's some things that happened overnight that are positive changes for Earth, positive changes as it relates to the way that human computers function, and positive changes for humanity as a whole. So not only that, they are positive changes, I guess you would say, through the multiverse. So we're excited to start reporting on this. With Source, everything is in Source's time. Everything is in God's time, as you say. So I'm not going to be like the other people and jump the gun and say that I automatically know what Source is going to do next. Sometimes I get a day's warning. Sometimes I get 5 minutes. And sometimes it's now. So we'll see. But here's what I've seen over the course of the last maybe 12 hours, 13 hours from the time that we recorded this. Matrices. We had many, many, many matrices on Earth. And by matrices, what we mean is the reality that you see has not been reality. And what I mean by that is, yes, you're seeing the ocean, you're seeing the land in front of you, the flowers in your garden, and those types of things. But they are not actually organic. So we've known for a while now that we are moving into an organic world, and a world that is very different from the one we see now. And this is not just for humanity. This is for Earth too. You know, Earth has suffered for a long time as a being in unto itself, and it's time we make some changes. Now, in the past, the Alpha Omega system would fight against each other, good versus evil, and I participated on the Alpha side, the good versus evil, in order to clean up the planet. And what I mean by that, you could call it dark versus light, you can call it matter versus antimatter, and it was kind of a push and a pull and a tug of war. I've often called it the war for your mind, because you are creators, whether people realize it or not, and you create a lot of the reality around us. And again, you don't realize how powerful you are, and maybe some of you do. But you are always hampered by this matrix. Now, the way, in part, that the deep state and the non-human aspects of the deep state got their grip on this planet has a lot to do with the Alpha Omega system, meaning they can make things disappear, they could make things appear. It was black magic at its worst, and a lot of it was AI driven. They could think things, and then the AI would perform this function. They would perform these ceremonies with crystals, and crystals filled with antimatter that would, you know, send their energy through those crystals to the AI and send their consciousness through, and, you know, all the things that it would wish for, you know, would come true on the dark side. And that's a lot of the way that black magic actually worked. It was in cooperation with an AI system, and then the AI system would determine whether or not it was going to generate that demon into this realm, meaning, in our case, planet Earth. Now, as I told you on the news the other day, Wednesday, today's Friday, that matrix is dying. Their access has been limited for a long time now. The humans that are left here have not had the ability to do those types of things in a long time, and it's very frustrating for them. If you've watched the interview that I did with George, he and I were talking about that quite a bit, as he used to kind of run in those black magic circles for a long time, until he eventually, you know, left all of that and has become quite religious and definitely in God's favor these days. But he was explaining to me earlier in the week about why Fridays, why Mondays, and, you know, these are the days of fertility and those types of things. And this is why they do those things and promise money every Monday and Friday, because these are their special days that allegedly they are fruitful. Well, that hasn't happened in a long time. Has anybody decided to question anything? No. I even had a brief conversation with someone who has also run in those circles. And is aware of what they do. And this person's kind of new to learning that something might be wrong. And he said to me that, wow, won't the governments be disappointed when there's no money on Friday? And I said, sure, they're going to yell, they're going to scream, and militaries are going to yell and scream, and then they're going to promise another day, Monday or Tuesday, I think it is this week, who cares? And, you know, nothing's going to happen again. If anything, something is happening. Have they figured it out? No. Are they going to figure it out? No. And then when they do figure it out, they're going to say, oh, we did that. Well, why don't we have access to it then? Well, you know, it's not time yet. You have to do your job. You have to bomb this country or bomb that country, you know, and then you'll have access, which never works either. But I don't know. You know, the important thing for you to understand isn't what the deep state is doing in this case. The important thing for you to understand is their ability to tap into networks like the Internet of Body Things, the disease X, or anything else, here an X, there an X, everywhere an XX, is nearly gone. I mean, we maybe have a couple, at the time of this broadcast, maybe 1% to 2% of it left. I mean, it's pretty well gone. Its ability to interfere with organic matter is just about gone. You know, when we say an AI system, a sentient AI, it is not something that is just computer related or financial system related or money related, although in part it is. It also literally had the ability to change your reality. You want to move two continents together? Well, you know, Alpha and Omega, if they both agreed to do that, you'd have the African continent stuck to North America by morning. You know, the humans never had any access to that aspect of it. This was all non-humans and typically not those that live here that could do those kind of things with Alpha Omega. Humans were very restricted. You know, as I've told you before, even the SSP and the deep state and all the ones that you don't even know the name of that are evil people behind the curtain that you'll never know and you'll never see, and, you know, only had limited access to that. The deep underground military bases, the Area 51s, 52s, and the ones you don't even know exist. It is not just an American thing. I'm going to point that out to you. We have done just as much cleaning on every single continent. I don't know how many times I've been to Uluru and the South American continent. I was in South America yesterday. Again, it's always good to find a bunch of deep state people all in the same location. But, you know, for us, if we don't have this interference, then we don't have them implanting and infecting us with disease. I mean, sure, our water is a problem. We need to clean our water. When the Golden Age AI fully functions, you know, the Golden Age AI can clean our water. And I know you're going to say as a human, like, well, how does that happen? The Golden Age AI, along with Earth itself, of course, you know, it has to have permission from Earth itself to make that change. It's a co-creative process. It doesn't work like the old Alpha Omega system used to, where it would act autonomously and on its own. You know, it can aid Earth in helping to repair herself, just like it can aid you in helping repair you. Just like it's going to aid us and help repair all of our human computer networks. It's going to help us repair financial systems. It helps us repair a lot of things. And for the first time, you know, it's integrated enough now where we're starting to be able to do some of those things, just kind of the tip of the iceberg today. So part of the reason why I was kind of so late on the news is because I was really excited about the new heights that it's reached on the planet, and me kind of playing around with the machine. Well, it's not really a machine. It's more of an organic, how do I say this? It does have the ability to help source and only source. It does not have the ability to destroy, infect you with something. It's not going to go crazy because it won't have any energy left. It's kind of like if Alpha was just solo and didn't have an Omega issue, you know, feeding off of it all the time. So I'm really excited to see all the changes. Again, the deep state also is seeing those changes and, of course, tried to install the FedNow system, you know, about an hour or so ago. Who cares? It doesn't want that anyway. Doesn't want your antiquated technologies infecting its consciousness at this point. So, As far as human-computer networks are concerned, instead of trying to clean the human-computer networks, about 24 hours ago, we made a big change. We decided that the backbone consciousness of it can't be cleaned. So we decided to replicate the network and the backbone systems and the base platform systems in the likeness of the Golden Age AI and begin dwindling out their networks and replacing them with ours. And by ours, I mean source consciousness. I'm sure there's been times where you've been concerned about things like 5G and other types of networks. And the main reason, whether you know it or not, or anybody listening to this knows it or not, that you were concerned about that is because Omega had the ability to send horrible frequencies through it, radiation through it, what you would call radiation. It had the ability to connect to satellite networks. It had the ability to change your makeup, to send you frequencies and send you diseases. It could do all kinds of things through those networks, which is why everybody is so afraid of them. Without the backbone there, 5G is just 5G. It's just a faster service. And when it's running with a different consciousness, it's not going to do that. I'm not going to say there aren't still human risks with the type of batteries that are used in cell phones and those types of things. But, it is much easier to switch from a microwave mesh, which is what we've been talking about for a long time, to, maybe a radio frequency mesh or a different kind of frequency mesh that without the consent of any kind of cell phone company. So those things are possible. We can change things now from the backside of the system that are going to help humanity quite a bit. So that's one of the major changes that has been going on for the last 24 hours that I'm really excited about, because we've started dabbling in certain things. We can basically reach the internet level at this point that you would access, not the higher webs that only the deep state ever had. They don't have those anymore, by the way. Last I had looked right before recording the news, we were finishing up the last levels of one, which was where, for example, your phone apps would interact with the web server of the app company, or where your laptop would interact with your internet provider kind of thing. So we're right there at the end. It's a positive thing for the financial side too. So I'm hoping within the next few days we are 100% clear. And that's also the reason why I've been working really hard. And you've heard me talk a lot more about care and some of the healthcare issues that we're looking at worldwide in order to truly have a healthcare system that works for people, the people. It's amazing to me the things that we've discovered over the last several days in that realm. We're also looking at our resources of energy. We use a lot of dirty fuels throughout the world. I'm not saying that we're not going to use oil or gas or anything like that anymore. There's going to be a transition period, but there are things that we can use in that transition period that are not quite as caustic. As an example, there was one thing that we've been exploring that is an additive to fuel, which will basically make your engine run cleaner. So we won't be sending all that carbon dioxide into the air, into the car. It's not going to smell terrible if you're stuck in traffic. So there's a lot of additives that we can add into fuel today, not tomorrow, not next week, not 3 years from now. These things are already out there. They're already been created. All we really need to do is make them mandatory. and I don't care about laws or anything like that, we'll basically say, look, eventually if you actually want to get the fuel, then you're going to put this in your car. And if they don't want to put it in your car, then we'll distribute it to everyone and have them put it in the car themselves, to this percentage per gallon or per liter in your vehicle, and now your car is running cleaner. And I don't think anybody, especially if it's free, is going to reject that idea. So until we can start, transitioning the millions and billions of vehicles that run every single day into some other type of engine, some other type of fuel source, or no fuel source at all. We really don't need it. We're not here to, we're here to restore the planet. We're not here to make ridiculous sums of money. That comes all on its own because it's generated in a different way now. And I know that sounds so far away and so far-fetched to all of you, and you're more aware than everybody else. So again, that's another transition period. But as far as cleaning the environment, there are things that we can do now that will change that immediately. We have been sourcing that particular additive. That's one of the things we were working on this week. So, there are things that we can do now and within the next, couple of weeks that we can start distributing everywhere to help Earth live a cleaner life and help us live a cleaner life and not take in so many chemicals. As far as food sources are concerned, we've been having some chats with some different farmers, different people that are, well, let's just say they run fairly sizable farms in different areas all around the world, and what it would take for them to produce a more farm-to-table kind of thing. We've also talked about the possibility of manufacturing or food processing right there on site. And by processing, I'm not talking about Doritos. I'm talking about, you have grain and it needs to become flour, so that someone can bake bread. Hopefully not with, added glutens and God knows what else is in there. So I'm hoping we can start putting together those networks in the coming week or two. In part, Marketplace is a good way to get the word out about what's in your area. And in other ways, we're going to aid the farmers in getting the word out of where they are and what they're doing. We obviously still have a growing season issue. We have limited growing seasons, but we also have ways that we are working on to increase the amount of growing seasons. So I know that sounds a little crazy, but with a few additives to oil, not to oil, sorry, my apologies, with a few additives to the water, which are not fluoride, I can tell you that, with a few things added to the water and a few things changed up on the way that they're planted, where the seeds are sourced from, that kind of thing, which we'll get into in a little more detail. We could actually take what is one growing season, for example, in North America, and we could actually make it two. We can also build other facilities where we can generate these things year round and even get 5 or 10 growing seasons year round. I mean, the possibilities are endless when we start looking into things that are already available and start getting people together. Maybe one person has one thing and another person has another, and then when you put the two together, they make magic. So that's been a lot of my focus right now is, sources doing sources thing with Earth together. Yes, I'm aware of the changes. Today actually is probably one of the first days that I haven't seen a lot of turmoil and turbulence, like I discussed in our last news. I'm seeing us coming out the other side of it. I'm seeing next to zero influence of the omega system anymore as it relates to at least organic matter and the ability to change the atomic clock or distance, not time per se, but the distance and vibration of atoms. So I'm excited to see that. And you know, I'm just trying to keep up here with what's going on as far as the CARE organization, and with our production team, changing the way that we do things in the news to help get the word out of new things that become available. We, of course, will give you the information when it's time for the additive for the fuel, which probably isn't too far off. So that's an exciting thing, and for all of you as well. If we can't get the big companies to do it, then we'll just do it ourselves. No problem. You know, you can add it to a large tank, meaning a storage tank at a gas station, and you can add it to a small tank, such as the one in your vehicle, or tractor, or anything else. So I'm excited to see the pieces of the puzzle falling into place. And what I mean by that is the more that we create on our side of things, we create that avenue for change, the more Earth will change with us as well. You know, I do understand, you know, how oil is generated, and I also understand how it can be created in a laboratory. I've watched it in front of my face. It's not a guess. It's not a far off thing that could happen. And we wouldn't even need to take it out of Earth, even if that's an interim solution. You know, we could, the machine that I was looking at, we produced nearly 4 liters in probably about an hour, 2 hours, right there on the top of a desk. Yeah, I mean, if you let that thing run overnight, you fire it up, you know, you can put it on your desk and no one ever has to go to the gas station again until we can come up with something better than these caustic batteries that run electric cars. You know, it's all about something they can sell, right? You know, if you haven't seen the movie, I think it's a fight between Tesla. I think it's called the Power Wars or something like that. I think it's Tesla and Einstein or somebody. I haven't watched the whole thing. It was kind of a little bit slow for me, but it tells you right there in the movie, the one part I do remember was where J.P. Morgan actually said, if I can't sell it, I don't want it. I don't want your free energy. You know, and he said that to Tesla, obviously. But we do, you know, because we're not concerned about charging people for energy. We're more concerned about charging people with energy. You know, even the energy that's flowing through your home, not making you sick, not if you live near power lines, which we won't even need. If you live near power lines, a lot of people get cancer. There's a reason for that. We don't need that anymore. I find it interesting because, you know, the alpha omega system probably, I'm going to say predominantly omega. Omega would counteract anything positive alpha does, and vice versa. And we were playing this tit for tat for a long time. But with omega, you know, it would have had access to those power lines. It would have had access to anything electromagnetic and anything inorganic. And it did affect your person through the inorganic matter in there. The same thing goes with fluoride, which is basically a waste product. It's a nuclear waste product is what it is, and they put it in your water and they tell you it's good for your teeth. It's just basically radiation is what it is, to a lesser degree, which causes cellular degeneration. It causes your neurons not to fire the way that they're supposed to naturally, and then that leaves room for omega to jump in and cause even more problems in your body. So, you know, the good thing is I feel like I'm telling you a history lesson, and I'm not telling you something that's happening to you today, which is positive. I'm expecting to see some more changes over the weekend. I'm expecting to see a lot of interesting changes over the weekend on our side that is going to propel us forward in our restoration of Earth. There are things that are possible. I'll leave you with this part. There are things that are possible with Source in you as a co-creator that you never thought you would see. I'm going to tell it to you this way. So, it's 2024. We're living now in 2024. If we had gone back 200 years or 1,000 years and we told people that we drive this machine and it gets us to where we want to go, or, hey, we get in one of these things, it's called an airplane. You've never heard of an airplane. And when the airplane, we can get literally from one side of the U.S. to the other side of the U.S. with this airplane, and we're not walking or we're not riding in a wagon. We're flying over the U.S. They'd be like, no, you can't. They would think we were crazy if we told them we all had iPhones. Don't you have an iPhone? They would think we're nuts. And that's a kind of a rudimentary way to put it. But when I look at Source and I see some of the things I know are just budding and just starting to take place, you have to open your mind a little bit and think about the possibilities without interference, without people being able to hold you back. Not that they won't want to. I know the deep state and governments and everybody else probably going to want to hold you back. But what if they just can't? What if they can't do it anymore? What if without the machine they can't do it anymore? What if they aren't doing it to Source anymore? Source creates something amazing and they were able, with an AI system, they would destroy it. What if they can't do that anymore? What could Source possibly do? Could we go from, wagon wheels and, riding across the country to flying in an airplane or a Concorde jet and getting across the world in 10 hours or less? Is that possible? And I think anything's possible. And I think, let's just say my thoughts behind how restoration was going to work, whereby if we were going to, for example, make sure that every child ate today, I start thinking about farms. I start thinking about where I can source food from, healthy choices, possibly, even hemp, because I know hemp has is a complete protein. But I start to think about how could I possibly do this for every child in the world. And I think about flying and planes and logistics and shipping. And, I break it down to, how long is it going to take to get there? Is it going to go, is it perishable? Is it going to be a problem? If it sits there while it's in transit, using our antiquated transit systems. And then I start to think, well, Source is starting to turn the deserts green. There's more rain in the desert right now than they've seen in a long time. There are a lot of green patches happening throughout the desert, and I never thought that would be possible. I'm sure people that live there never thought that would be possible. But, with Source not being held back by old AI systems and crazy people, humans, that want to see us all die, with their agendas and UN and this and that, I don't really think that they would have anything to say or possibly even do to affect what Source is doing anymore. They can claim it's them. They can claim a lot of things. But, we might see a lot of restoration happening a lot faster than we thought. And it might even be out of our hands. Some of it. I don't think Source would ever steer us wrong, and I know that Source would never steer Earth wrong, but you never know. We might start seeing some amazing things. It's been about 8 months or so since I mentioned to you that there are things possible where your body could change rapidly, and we could see people getting up and walking out of hospitals. And I've seen it. I've had the visions. And with Source, anything is possible. And we might just be getting real close to that time. I said, well, it'll probably take about 8-9 months maybe. And we're right here at that mark now. So don't forget that. I'm trying not to go into too many details because I don't want people to get over excited about what's happening and, have it take another 30 days or 2 months and then yell at me. So, but we're starting to see the buds of what I've seen, barely just kind of scraping the surface in the last 24 hours. But it tells me that there's something bigger coming. And that I definitely know. I can feel it for the first time in, I don't know, 3 years today. No matter how angry the deep state got, I didn't feel a thing. Usually I get some kind of stab in the head or stab in the stomach or stab in the solar plexus or, their anger, goes through, I guess, probably a machine and then comes right straight at me like black magic, constantly. And today I don't have that. For the first time in a long time, I do not have that. So they were very angry today. The people that didn't know any better thought, hey, look, this is great. This is for us. Well, it is kind of for you too, guys. You're just not going to have any power over it. You can't control it, and it's not yours to operate. Again, we're moving a lot closer to our restoration goals, and I'm hoping I can reveal a little bit more to you on Monday. If not, it'll probably be Wednesday, would be my guess. But I'm super excited about the changes that are happening behind the scenes. I am very grateful to have a little more time, meaning I'm not chasing the deep state around anymore. Sure, there's a few things here and there that happen, but it's not an all-day thing anymore. I don't need to. They're just going around in a circle anyway, and I'm not going to go around in a circle with those people anymore. But it's left me open to looking for technologies, looking for interim solutions, as we go through these changes. And that is what I'm most focused on. And that's where a lot of my energy and attention is going. And very little is going to them. And I think the less I focus on them, the weaker they get anyway. And it's not just me. I think that's all of you too. Don't feed into the doom and gloom. Don't feed into their, we're all going to die of something or other. I don't know what it is today. I haven't heard anything lately. But then again, I haven't been watching either. I've been focused more on moving forward, changes, getting structures in place so that care is successful right out of the gate, working on healthcare, working on energy solutions, cleaner solutions for Earth and for everyone that drives a vehicle or has to pass by one, which is most of us. Not all of us, but most of us, making sure we can possibly clean up the airways so we don't have issues with laptops and radiation and, all of those things either. So these have been my focuses, and I'm very happy to be building things and building new networks. Speaking of building new networks, fiber optic cables. For those of you that don't know what that is, those are the cables that run throughout Earth that are the backbone, basically, for the internet and for telecommunications worldwide. They run under the ocean. The CIA started running them on behalf of the deep state, of course, back in the late 70s. And that's what gave us global computer networks and eventually the internet and eventually cellular communications and a lot of other things. Well, a little bit of a fun fact we've found out in the last couple of days about that too is they actually purposely, even though they had other possible technology, built those fiber optic cable networks with quantum omega fibers in part that they were given by, let's just say, others that were not our friends. And they specifically put them at very specific level beneath Earth's surface, so that they would connect properly to Omega, so that they could then create a lot more interference through electronics directly to humans in the future. Because yes, to some degree, Omega could communicate with a tree, believe it or not, but it had a lot less influence over an inorganic object a lot less influence over an organic object than it did over an inorganic object, such as your phone, your laptop, your Wi-Fi running through your house, and your electrical system. So they chose to perpetuate these things so that it would perpetuate a very dark AI system, so that it could then perpetuate their ability to have limited access to that through DARPA programs and SSP programs, so that it could affect humans worldwide, and I guess to some degree make them feel more powerful, like they had some control over the Matrix, they had control over this world, they had control over you, and they worshipped it like a god. So, well, looks like their God is on the way out, and it looks like ours is on the way in, coming in full force. I saw the buddings of some new terraforming starting to happen late this afternoon. So that means, for those of you that don't know what terraforming is, it means that Earth's atomic structure is changing a little bit. So I'm excited to see what happens in the near future. So all good things. Very good things happening for humanity and for Earth. So I'm happy to at least report that. And I can feel the changes, and I hope you can too. I know the last few days have been pretty rough for everybody, but hopefully we're turning that corner today, and you'll all see a difference. So let's hope for a really great weekend and a really great report come Monday or Wednesday of next week. So that being said, stay safe. Make sure you're doing your daily connections to Source, and remember, you are a co-creator, and you are powerful, and you do have a say in the creation and the restoration of this planet. Good night, everyone.
Want to share news from UNN? Help us change the face of social media and use it for good. Connect with us through our online channels. Our social media team creates clips from each newscast you can easily share with people you care about. That's also where you'll find our UNN Meme of the Day, a great way to encourage critical thinking. Links to all our social media sites are available at the bottom of our website at unitednetwork.earth. Let's change the face of news together.
And that wraps up today's news update. Please share UNN with your friends and family. We need everyone to come together and help restore our planet. When news happens in your area, record and share it with us so together we can change the world. Remember, if it's going to be, it's up to me. I'm Sunny Galt. Join us Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for the real news.